Hello there, it's Mrs. Lohoff. This is lesson 5.5, multiplying with fractions, part E. So we've practiced drawing images, we've practiced doing arrays and seeing where the areas overlap so you could understand what it meant when we're multiplying fractions. And today we're going to just skip right to what we've already learned, and I've already talked to you about what's really happening here and the easiest method for multiplying fractions, and that's just multiplying across. This is the way your learning coaches are going to say, oh my gosh, this is how I learned it too. So 4/5 times 5/8. We're going to multiply the top numbers. 4 times 5 is 20. And we're going to multiply the bottom numbers. 5 times 8 is 40. Now we have our answer, 20 over 40. However, we have to make sure we write it in simplest form. So we need to think about the factors, the multiplication facts that go into 20 and the multiplication facts that go into 40. Right away, I'm seeing zeros at the end of both of these numbers, so I know that I can multiply 10 times a number to get 20 and 10 times a number to get 40. I can also see that 20 is half of 40. If I don't know that, I'm going to start with dividing by 10 first. So this is reducing the fractions. If I divide the top number by 10, I have to divide the bottom number by 10 to make an equivalent fraction that is smaller. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 40 divided by 10 is 4. Now, I can see 2 and 4 are both even numbers, and when I have even numbers, I can divide by 2. So if I divide 2 by 2 and I divide 4 by 2, I get 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. I've taught you that whenever you have a fraction that the top number or the numerator is 1, you cannot simplify it anymore. You are done. So the answer to 4/5 times 5/8 is 1/2. I want to show you another little trick. If you use this trick, great. If this trick is confusing to you, then don't worry about it. You don't have to use this trick. It saves you time in the end. But if it's confusing, just go ahead and multiply the top numbers, multiply the bottom numbers, and then reduce your fraction. What I'm noticing here is that if I look at the numbers that are across from each other, the 4 and the 8, I can see a common factor of 4. So I could divide this by 4 and get 1, and divide this by 4 and get 2. I haven't changed the value of the fractions at all. I have just reduced or common factors. I could also look at this diagonal and see that I have the same number there, where that means I could divide both by 5. So this becomes a 1 and this becomes a 1. Now when I multiply across, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2. I don't have to reduce at the end. So I'm reducing in the beginning or I'm reducing at the end. Take your pick. Let's look at another example. 3/7 times 2/3. I'm going to do the the straightforward way first, and then I'll go back and we'll look at if we can reduce factors in the beginning next. So literally going to multiply across. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 times 3 is 21. Now I have to look at 6 and 21 and think, can I divide 6 by a number that I can also divide 21 by? And I can. I can divide both by 3. 6 can be divided by 3, and 21 can be divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 21 divided by 3 is 7. This is my final answer, 2/7. The other way to do it, where you reduce the fractions in the beginning, is you look, first let's look here. 2 and 7. They don't have any factors in common, so I cannot change anything there. But the other direction, I have 3's. And whenever I have the same number on the top and the bottom, they basically cancel each other out. So I can divide 3 by 3 to get 1 and 3 by 3 to get 1. Then I multiply across. 1 times 2 is 2. 7 times 1 is 7. Whichever way you choose to do it, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the right answer. You're either reducing factors in the beginning or you're reducing fractions at the end. Let's look at another example. 5/8 times 2/25. Here's where if I can get rid of it in the beginning, it's going to make my life a lot easier because I don't want to multiply 25 times 8, but I can do it. And so can you. Let's do it the straight across way first. 5 times 2 is 10. 8 times 25. What? Well, 25 is a quarter. And if you know about money, 25, 50, 75, a dollar, or 100 cents, 4 groups of 25 makes 100. So if I have 8 25s, I have 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200. All right. I can see I can divide the top and the bottom by 10 because they have 10 has a 0 and 200 has a couple of them. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 200 divided by 10 is 20. So the answer becomes 1/20th. There's that one at the top. We are done reducing. All right, let's look at getting rid of our reducing our factors in the beginning. Looking across this way, 8 and 2. I can divide those by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Then let me look at this part. 5 and 25. Oh, I can divide both by 5 because 5 times 5 is 25. All right, so 5, whoops, there's my pen back. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Now we're ready to multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 5 is 20. Same answer, 2 different ways to get there. Pick the way that works best for you. I think I have one more. I do! All right, let's do it. 6 times 1 is 6. 8 times 12. Oh, really? Holy cow, I need scratch paper for that. Let's get out scratch paper here. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 1 more is 9. 96. Now I have to figure out, can I reduce this? I can. I know a trick that you might not know. The trick is if I have a number with 2 digits, like 9 and 6, and I add them together, 9 plus 6, I look at the number I get, 15. If I can divide this number by 3, then 96 can be divided by 3 also. And I can divide 15 by 3, so I know I can divide 96 by 3, and I know I can divide 6 by 3. That's a little trick for dividing by 3s. So here we go. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 96 divided by 3 is 32. Now I have 2 even numbers. I can always divide even numbers by 2. We don't have a 1 at the top yet, and I'm still looking. We can still reduce. 2 divided by 2, now we have the 1. 32 divided by 2 is 16. So the answer is 1/16. Let's look at it the other way where I might not have to get scratch paper to do some multiplying because that wasn't fun. But if that's the way you need to do it, that's the way you need to do it. All right, this way we have a 1 already. We're done. We can't remove anything. We can't get rid of the 1. But the other way, 6 and 12. Oh, I can divide both by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 2 is 16. Same answer, and I didn't have to get scratch paper to do it. But if that way is confusing to you, do it the other way. Pick whichever way works best for you and keep practicing. All right, that's it. Bye.